Like Saturdays in the rocket summer, blue skies.
My name is Taylor, and this is a brief look into my hero journey. I will be the first to admit that it's slightly atypical, but hey, atypical could be used to describe most of my experiences thus far in life, so it seems only fitting that the same term can be used to describe my journey. I was born on August 30th, 1990 at a hospital in Portland, Oregon. I was the first of 3 children. I came into the world 3 years ahead of my sister Alex, and 6 years ahead of my brother Max. My birth was by no means miraculous or interesting, aside from a few minor details. I was born a month early, yet was a moderately large baby. I was jaundiced and therefore had to spend about a week on and off under a UV light to correct an abnormal chemical balance in my body that caused me to be tinged slightly yellow. As you can probably tell, that problem was corrected, and I am now tinged the normal person color, although I am a bit pale. You gotta love what those Irish genes will do to you. My world is a variety of places. I live at 4243 River Birch Run in Zionsville, Indiana, in a large white house with a severely inclined driveway. It makes for an excellent sledding hill, trust me. While at home, I spend a majority of my time in the comfort of my bedroom. It holds all the things that help make my world exactly what it is. Those things include my computer, my guitars, and most importantly, my frogs. It is in this room that I partake in most of my various hobbies. As you can see, those include sleeping, talking to friends, using the computer, and playing my guitar. As will become quickly evident during this presentation, another large part of my world is my kitchen. And finally, the last major part of my world is my basement. In it, you will find my drums and all my various video game equipment. Yeah, we've got a TV we can watch Friends all we want. My call is a tad bit different from that of the typical hero journey in that it wasn't really presented to me by a herald so much as I discovered it on my own. One day, while perusing the vast expanse of the internet, I came upon an interesting website. A college student in some place far and distant from Indiana had created and consumed a 30,000 calorie sandwich. This was the standard on which I based my own hero journey and played an integral role in the motivation factor. It's fairly common knowledge that I love to eat. Big meals have been a part of my life since its beginning, and it's always a struggle for me to fill up my belly. With this discovery, I was presented with my initial call: create and consume some sort of culinary monstrosity that would best this unknown individual in terms of edible triumph. I knew that if I were to embark on this journey, I would need help from at least one other person. Enter my primary supernatural aid, Casey Kleppel, another youth facing the issue of near constant hunger. From the beginning, he was entirely interested in the aforementioned adventure, hoping to somehow become involved. In addition to being my supernatural aid, Casey embarked on the journey with me, facing the same trials and difficulties, and ultimately arriving at the same reward. Throughout the experience, he continued to believe in the cause when it seemed impossible, pushing me onward when I was shocked at what we were attempting to do. Making a giant sandwich presents a lot more trials than one may think, and we certainly experienced our fair share over the course of the planning and execution stages. The first of our primary difficulties was money. In addition to purchasing all the supplies for our sandwich, which came out to cost roughly $100, we wanted some way to display this accomplishment for all the world to see. We figured the best way to do this was through the internet, and to make a long story short, websites are very expensive too. We managed to clear this hurdle by putting in extra hours at our respective jobs, which managed to earn us the much needed cash to complete this expedition. Next, finding a loaf of bread to house a monstrosity this large was near impossible. We visited various places that specialized in sales of bread around town, and none of them stated that they could make us a loaf of bread any larger than a typical standard size. Our solution was a somewhat makeshift one in that we simply took 4 of the largest loaves we could find and stuck them together, using mayonnaise as a mortar of sorts. It's a little bit disgusting, I know. However, all of those obstacles were overcome, and the day had finally arrived for us to embark on our journey. We hit up our local Target and purchased all the food that we would need to complete the sandwich. It honestly looked like enough food to feed a family for a week. The construction took place without too many problems, just a few incidents with popping grease while we were cooking the various meats. After about 2 hours, everything had been cooked, and the sandwich was finally completed. Everything went according to plan for about the next 24 hours as we slowly began to chip away at the overall mass of what we had created. Unfortunately, our morale over the course of those same hours could be described as a declining trend. Getting ever fuller, it was on the second day that we hit rock bottom. It was on the second day that we landed in the belly of the whale. We were convinced that we couldn't do it, that we had simply made too much food, and that we were done. We spent a few hours sulking and digesting until, through an interesting turn of events, our morale was boosted, and we returned to our sandwich with a renewed vigor. Our story had been posted to the front page of a very popular website, Dig.com. The story was immediately plastered with comments, either giving encouragement or providing the statement that we couldn't do it. Both motivated us to return to the table and finish what we had started. Why can't you just love me back? 36 hours later, we ate the last few bites of our sandwich. There are a variety of realizations that I had on this expedition, and I feel as if I could cite any one of them as my apotheosis. It took much thinking to decide which one to use. However, most of these potential discoveries were rather trivial, and I feel as if the apotheosis is supposed to be a bit more serious than avoid mayonnaise in large quantities at all costs. With that in mind, I realized my ultimate apotheosis. Through my journey, I discovered that it's possible to have a dream, be faced with challenges, and ultimately overcome them and enjoy what you've created. In addition to my apotheosis, I returned from this experience with a gift to share with the rest of my world. I think that in part this gift has things to do with the way that I changed, and things to do with the sandwich that we created. I think that since this journey, certain aspects of my personality, such as drive to succeed and an overall feeling of accomplishment, have become evident, and these are reflected in my friendships. The experience as a whole was also a gift to those who witnessed it. My friend Alex said that it allowed him to realize the true extent of creativity and how it can be applied to life. He was also happy to be reassured that it is very difficult to die by means of a single sitting eating extravaganza. So that is basically my hero journey thus far. It may seem like it is completed, but I feel as if this is only a chapter in my life. That perhaps I'm breaking the mold a little bit and I'm actually on multiple journeys, branching off from one another, of which this was only a single one. With all that said, I am very pleased to have been a part of my journey, and am very interested to see where things go from here.